Hi, welcome back for another weekly Homestead video. Now, I realize on my channel I did a bunch of tactical and airsoft videos and haven't gotten to that recently. If that's what you're here for, I'll get back to it. I just have been too busy lately. And honestly, as cool as that stuff is, most of us will go through our entire lives without ever needing a weapon. Hopefully most of the people watching this aren't even going to make it through today without eating. So food's kind of a higher priority. So let's look at the garden. Okay. So the moringa trees, these are the buckets. The tops got cut off and moved into new buckets. But they're definitely sprouting, which is kind of surprising considering these are tropical trees. It's gotten cold out. We'll see how those do. Now, over here in this area, this is what's been referred to frequently as a lake onion. Last November or so, I tilled up a bunch of this, planted onions, and then it all flooded because I didn't realize how, that drainage pond wasn't deep enough, and this whole area near the house flooded, and it was under 2 feet of water, which killed off most of my onions. But I was kind of surprised this week to see that a couple of the onions survived and are putting up new greens. It actually looks like it's about 4 onions that survived. I've since added more dirt on top of these, so I've added probably 3 more inches of dirt. Actually, there's a few more onions over here. But I was kind of surprised to see the onions come back up, even through all of that dirt. Speaking of onions, kind of the main crop I've got going this winter happens to be this bed full of onions. And onions are kind of a winter crop here. We plant them October, November, let them grow over the winter and harvest probably in the summer. So that's gotten started doing well. This bed is just kind of compost material at the moment. Eventually I'm going to take dirt from that pile and fill it in here. I didn't have my peppers spread out well enough, and they started rotting and molding, so I just threw the moldy peppers in here. I've got so many peppers that have been growing, that entire bed has been peppers. I have been dehydrating peppers. I'll show you those in a minute. You can see there's still more on these that need to be harvested. Now, supposedly you can overwinter these peppers in Texas, and the plants will just shoot back up. So I'm going to kind of leave them as is and see what happens, but I'm also going to plant more. It's about a month from needing to plant. I just realized I had a pepper on the ground. Grab that while I'm here. My tomatoes are basically all dead. I need to go through this with a weed whacker. I basically want to cut the plants off so the roots can compost where they are, because those will break up the soil. This is really heavier clay than I'd like. But basically these didn't survive the freeze. Oh, actually, I got some tomatoes under there. I should harvest those and put them on pizza. Same thing over there, just a few more. These are cherry tomato plants over here. Maybe I will leave those for a little while longer. There's my heirloom tomato that's just kind of fallen over. That was a complete fail. And those I haven't been pruning, so we're just going to cut these things off, kind of right at the base. Leave the roots in place, because that's breaking up the clay a little bit. But the rest of it, we're just going to kill that off when I get time and replant in the spring. This bed here has got really nice soil in it. It's a lot of compost. This is where my first flock of chickens is buried at also. So I just covered these with cardboard to kind of keep weeds out of there and frankly block the sunlight going to them with that rock. Because, no lights, no plant, no photosynthesis. So hopefully that bed will be ready to go in the spring. I still haven't got the rainwater capture done. That's still a lot of work to do. Over here, the calamansi tree, if you're not familiar with calamansi, it's basically a Filipino lime, seems to be quite happy and growing pretty well. I'm actually kind of surprised with the cold weather this is doing as well as it is, but it's definitely doing well. This tree is a year and a half, almost 2 years old, I think, at this point. So hopefully next year it'll shoot up a bit. And then if I go over here, leaving the garden, started working on getting the chicken coop set up for next year. Now, this fencing here is all coming down. Like, I've got chicken wire fence all the way around. That doesn't keep predators out, so... And by predators, I mean abandoned dogs from guys in the city who drive out here to ditch their animals. What I'm planning to do is put posts there. And I had a friend from church who's probably watching this, so thank you again, Richard, who helped map out where I'm going to put the extended chicken run that we're going to just clip on kind of right next to the existing coop here. Unfortunately, I've got a auger that just arrived in the mail yesterday to dig holes for posts where all of these are marked. Auger just arrived. Unfortunately, that hole is going to be right against the coop, and that was a lot of work to dig, and it still needs to be deeper, but that's about as deep as I can get it, since it's heavy clay. Probably do another video later with more specifics on the chicken run once it's built. And this fence over here is probably just going to get reused around the garden. I've already started taking off the clips that held it to the T-posts. Okay, let's go inside. So over here, I've been running this dehydrator pretty much non-stop. Well, close to non-stop. At the moment, it's got chard leaves in it. But most of what it's been doing this week has been dehydrating peppers, mostly Thai chilies. These things take forever to dehydrate. It's probably close to 20 hours to dehydrate one of these. But they are dehydrated. I've got 2 jars of like this, as packed down as I could with the dehydrated peppers. And I had to give away a bunch. Well, didn't have to, but I did. So that was kind of nice finding people at church and just be like, here, have a bag of peppers. And there's chard in there at the moment. And over here, I can't remember what this thing is called, but my wife found one of these at an Asian grocery store. It's what do you say? Okay, that's what it's called. And I'm just letting that dry peppers on that one too. And over here, we got the chirpers. Y'all say hi to YouTube. These girls are... They'll be 2 weeks next Tuesday. And they're feathering out nicely, as she demonstrated with that wing stretch and that one. So hopefully in a few more months, they'll be ready to go outside and into the coop. Just waiting for them to grow those feathers. That's pretty much it for this week. Didn't get as much done as I'd like to, but making progress. The fact that like sundown is 5:20ish now, that kind of limits the amount of work I can do outside. So, if you're not already gardening and raising chickens, you should think about it. It's fun.